Come on in to Margaret McSweeney's Kitchen for Kitchen Chat, where every week you'll meet chefs, cookbook authors, foodies, gourmets, and just plain people who love to eat. And along with laughter, chat, recipes, and stories about food, you'll sometimes also hear words of inspiration, love, and hope. As Margaret always says, Kitchen Chat is food for the senses and food for the soul. So grab a cup of coffee, put your feet up on a comfy chair, and get ready to spend a little time with Margaret and her friends.
Welcome to Kitchen Chat. I'm your host, Margaret McSweeney, here in the Viking La Cornue showroom. I'm so excited you're joining me today, and my co-host, Chef Jaime Laurita, who's the Viking brand ambassador.
I sure am.
And we are just thrilled to have Jackie Zeman in the house.
She's in the house.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so happy to be here with all of you.
So happy to be here. Now, as we all know, Jackie is an iconic soap star actress from way back and currently. Jackie, it's so great to have you in our showroom, number one. We've always been a big fan of your work, and it's just an honor. I was out to dinner with her last night at Club Lucky here in Chicago. This girl can eat.
I can put it away, right?
She can put it away.
Starting with bread.
Yes, and finishing with bread.
And dessert and finishing with profiteroles and tiramisu.
Yeah, no, she was not playing. She was not playing here in Chicago, guys. I got to tell you, this little thing can pack down a meal. So great to be here with you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled. Wonderful.
And I can't wait to hear about your journey. I mean, you mentioned that you love to eat. What has your culinary journey been like, and who has influenced you along that?
Well, I'm a foodie. I mean, anybody who knows me and follows me on Instagram, I post pictures of food all the time and pretty things, flowers and food and like the sunset and the ocean but food thing, obviously when you eat 3 meals a day, like most of us do, food becomes very important. So what I learned is that, I'm eating lunch and I'm staking out what I'm going to have for dinner always. So I'm always dead ahead.
Ditto.
And my mama was a cook, she's a brilliant cook. My mom was raised all of us. We didn't have like a housekeeper cook. My mom did it all. So she was a great influence. And I had 2 grandmothers, my mom's and dad's moms that were alive and well, that were both very different cooks, but really one was the Czechoslovakian, everything in the pot and the stew and the dumplings and
you're making me hungry.
Chocolate roll with the whipped cream cake, what I'm
gaining weight just sitting next to her.
And my other grandma was more healthy. They were like the Quaker WASP side of the family where everything was more like smaller portions and more courses and different. So I had access to everything. And then as I got older, I was working all the time, and I really am not a good cook. I don't really enjoy cooking. If it were up to me, the food fairy would just have it appear and clean it up when we're done.
So are you basically, I would be considered the food fairy in her life at this moment.
I love that. So good at it.
Thank you very much. What's great about all this too is I'm visualizing you like way back in the day, being backstage, and that's something I know a lot about, the food that's being served and the craft service and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, there are some craft services that are amazing, and then there are some that are just horrible. Yes. I mean, did you have to supplement a lot of your meals, bringing them to work? Do you do that now? Well,
because a lot of times I have better things in my refrigerator than I know what they're going to serve. So I always allow myself an extra 15 minutes. I usually get up at 4 in the morning if I'm shooting, and I'm out the door at 5. To be there by 6. So I give myself an extra 15 minutes so that I can make I'm a bread girl, so I like sandwiches. I'm not like a salad, push it around or, wave the French fry around. If I got a French fry, it's going down the hatch. So, with ketchup? Yes. Or ranch dip or truffles
mayonnaise,
or whatever.
Or truffle mayonnaise.
Yeah, truffle mayonnaise is the best. So, but I always make, and then I do a bag of the chips, and I like a pickle, and I like a little cookie or something for dessert. I like a full lunch. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Jackie, one other thing I want to talk to you about, and it's kind of like, the thing that you're most well known for, is General Hospital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 40, actually, I'm on my 41st year now. I celebrated 40 years last year on GH. I started, long time ago, thinking when I moved to California, I'll go out to California and do this show I had a 2-year contract, And when they hired me, they said, well, we'll give you a 2-year contract, but it's our option whether we renew it. Maybe you won't be here for 2 years. And here I am 40 years later. So it turned out to be a really good job.
So Margaret, what were you doing also like during the time? I remember with me, I was like the whole Luke and Laura thing. Yes. And I kind of had my 80s hair, my mullet going, and I would come home from school and I was like the rest of the world and the rest of the country, addicted to the show at that time. Margaret, what were you doing there?
Oh, I was in my little preppy outfit in Alabama, and we were all gathered around the television watching it. I don't
know if you've picked this up by now, but she's like, her Southern belle is ringing right now.
I can pick it up. I play a Southern belle on my other soap, The Bay, which is I play Sophia Madison, the mayor's wife, and Nick Costa's my husband, and I'm an events planner.
I love the Southern connection here. Yes, and I love, too, that in General Hospital, you were a restaurant owner with Kelly's Diner. So, yes, so that you're a restaurateur.
Oh, wow. So you didn't even know you were in the restaurant business.
I've always been so curious. What is the food like? Is it real food in the diner? I mean, how do they stage that? And are people really eating, or is it all kind of a set?
Well, first of all, credit to our props department because they're awesome. They do their best. But a lot of times, it depends on what it is. Like the things in the cookies and the cakes on those are all like, ugh, no, don't even go there. You don't know how long they've been sitting there. Some of them aren't even real. You know what I mean? But the actual food that they serve us is edible and good. The thing is with matches, we shoot so fast, and they know, I never drink real coffee because I don't want brown teeth in the scene because they shoot so tight.
It's kind of like wine mouth. You see people drinking red wine and you're talking to them and their teeth are bright red.
It's gross.
So you don't want to have coffee mouth. I get that.
You don't do that. And then eating, you don't want to, you'll try to time your bite so you're not like chewing when they come to you and you're like,
right.
Gotta get rid of it.
So I have a very interesting question for you, and I think about this a lot, especially today in the whole like social media realm. As an actress, when you first started, you didn't have to have all of these Instagram followers, and you didn't have to have this big social media following then. You were just a great actress who went in and did their job and had fans. These days, in my mind, it's like you have to have, they're counting your fans. How does that, as an actress for you, being there from the point I'm talking about till now, affect the acting, the whole acting business?
I don't believe that it creatively affects anything, but it affects how you spend your time in order to do what you have to do to get the job done.
Right.
Like you say with Instagram, they do look. I mean, I've heard from actors, if you don't have enough Instagram followers, they won't even audition you for a part.
It's interesting. I remember clearly that we didn't even have a cell phone. My dad had the giant box in the car, and that was the phone, and I thought that was so cool. And then to the times now where everything happens through your phone. And it's just interesting to see.
The lovely part is the immediate connection with the audience. Because GH is a closed set, so the only time I ever get to meet anybody that's involved with the show is if I go out and do a personal appearance somewhere and then people come. I love that because I like people, so I enjoy that. But the reaction is immediate. It used to be years ago, everybody had to sit down, write a letter, lick a stamp, send it in.
Right.
It took a week to get there, 2 weeks before somebody read it. By then, with soap operas, every day, it's like the news. So current, it's a reflection of what's going on in American society day to day. So it was a slow process.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because I was watching, at home, I happened to catch a soap opera, and I don't watch soaps because I'm always working, but I happened to catch a soap opera and they're using social media on their phones.
We're on our phones on the show all the time.
Show. And I was like, oh, that's interesting to see, because the last time I really had watched a soap opera, it didn't involve any of that.
Yeah, the phone calls, we used to go to like a hardwire phone and, do the thing, and now you just whip out your cell phone. So it changes the scenes and how we get to shoot. And it also changes, they don't have focus groups anymore. They used to do focus groups. Sit them, for those of you who don't know the focus group, they get a bunch of people in a room and they ask them what they think of the show, who do they like, the chemistry, should those two get married? You think they, and then, it used to be character driven. Now it's plot driven because they can change the plot on a dime if they have to.
Wow.
We were talking last night over dinner, and Jackie was telling me about all of the script that you have to memorize. You know, it's unbelievable, like, that you are able to, you know, I guess it's a muscle, like we were explaining. I was asking Jackie last night, how do actors do that? Like, when you have to memorize all this script. It was really interesting that you were, like, these days you got to be spot on. You got to know your lines. It's, like, very important.
No teleprompter.
And how long do you have to study before a scene?
Like 3 days, usually. We get 3-4 days sometimes, it depends. But GH, just because of budgeting, sometimes now we shoot 3 episodes in a day, which is about 300 pages of dialogue in a day. So movies do maybe 2 pages, you know. Yeah, it's fast. Or sometimes it's 2 episodes in a day, which is, but it's fast. I mean, you go in, the way we work now, we only get our own scenes. We don't get the whole script anymore.
Right.
So I no longer used to get, the messenger would come and bring, Jim for a million years to my house, drop off all 5 scripts, because those are the days when I was on, and I would have 500 pages of script to read that night, underline them, pull my sides, staple them together, then pay my young daughters $2 a script to run lines with me. That's how my girls learn to read.
And you're a great mom. You're a great mom. She's a great mother. I was
Thank you.
eavesdropping on your phone calls yesterday, and she's so excited for you. And Margaret as well. Margaret also has 2 daughters.
2 daughters too. One in empty nest now, but
it's hard when they go.
I think they're probably the same age, around the same age. Maybe yours are a little bit older.
Mine are 25 and 27.
very close. My oldest is almost 25, and my youngest is 23.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. So we're in that phase of, so I went through the empty nest thing a few years ago, and it's like, you're joyful when they go, but at the same time, your heart's like,
So true. You give them roots and wings.
When Cassidy, mine are 22 months apart. They're really close. And when they get their licenses at 16 in California, the age, 16 and a half, they're allowed to not have friends in the car, but a sibling is allowed to be in the car. And I remember watching the first time, she was able to drive with Lacey, my other daughter, her sister, in the car, watching them drive the car down the driveway to pull out. I'll never forget that moment. It was like, you have those moments in your life where you seal it in your brain. It was like that.
I can't even imagine, guys. I have 2 dogs at home. I have no children. And when I walk out of my door and I see my little puppy heads out the window, it kills me. So that must be really, really heart-wrenching.
Well, you know what? I went to Florida to visit my mom at the time. She has since passed, but she was in Florida and she was living in a place called the Villages, which a lot of seniors go to. And there was an art gallery there with really pretty pictures, like old school, like I have very traditional furniture in my bedroom, like Tuscan, the bed with the big headboard and all that. So there was this artist that had all these pictures, and I bought a painting, and I didn't even realize at the time, it's an arbor with a bunch of flowers, and it's 2 girls holding hands, but their backs, they're walking the path that way. And at the time, I brought it home and I went, oh yeah, because of the thing in the car with the driveway. So I still have that painting. It came house to house to house with me above my little jewelry cabinet.
Margaret just clutched her pearls. I don't know if you saw that. That was a clutching promo.
So I know you can relate, right? Yes, as anybody who's been through this can relate. Beautiful thing.
It is, and each, life is a journey and a fun culinary journey as well. But just so many stages, so many ages. You
guys are talking a lot about throughout this whole kitchen chat about relationships, and we know that we have some relationships with friends that are in common.
Yes.
So, Margaret.
Yes, and thank you for that segue. I'm going to try not to cry because it was such a milestone moment, as you foodie friends know and remember so well, when I was able to interview Robin Leach on Kitchen Chat. And it was so special because, as you know, I'm honoring my late father on this culinary journey. And I have such fond memories of watching Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous with my dad. And it was just a hug from heaven to have him on the show and hear about his incredible culinary journey. I mean, he is really responsible, as you know, Jamie, for reinvigorating Las Vegas and making that a culinary capital.
Sure. Yeah. He was somebody that was really inspirational in my life as a chef and somebody that loves and appreciates the finer things and the luxuries, and that's what I do. Talk to us about your relationship with him.
Well, first of all, Robin is one of my dearest, best friends in my heart. always in my life. I met Robin. Oh gosh, I was 32 years old at the time, and I was living in California in Studio City. At the time, they called it Studio City. And I had a house there, and he came to shoot a Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous segment on me because I was on GH and the show was really popular. So he comes with the crew, and I had known Robin just from red carpet when he was on Entertainment Tonight, but I never had a personal conversation with him just under the mic. What are you wearing? That stuff. So there he is, in my house, and we're doing the segment, and he was so charming and so fun, and obviously there was like an attraction there.
Wow. Hey now.
Yeah.
Hey now.
So, when you do that show, Lifestyle, they were all over the house. I had this white baby grand piano, and it's when then they had me in a bathtub with bubbles, and I had a big swimming pool, and they had a bathing suit.
What were you wearing? Did you have this like long white like robe as you cascaded down the pool with like a bikini on and heels? And Robin was like, well, this is my vision. Sorry, guys.
No, but my friend PK Cole was my makeup artist, came and she went, he's looking at, when he saw you in that bathing suit, he was paying attention. I was right. And I'm like, are you sure?
I was right.
Yeah. I said, I don't know. He's kind of a player. He's all over. I don't know if that's going to work. She goes, no, you should. He's going to ask you out. And he did. So he
TMZ.
Was coming back the following week. He said, well, my friend, Wolfgang Puck was his best friend. I'm coming back next week, and my friend Wolfgang's opening Chinois on Maine. Would you like to come and be my date? I will. So I'm like, oh, okay. So it was a Saturday night. I'm so excited. Oh, he's flying all the way. We're going to go. We're shooting. We didn't usually shoot on Saturdays at GH. We always shoot, but for some reason we're shooting on Saturday. And it was my wedding day to David Groh. Remember David? Rhoda! That guy. He was playing my TV husband, about to be. Right. And they ordered a bunch of sandwiches because the commissary was closed. They put mayonnaise on the sandwiches. They sat out for a couple hours, me being the big eater, boom, boom, boom. Stuffed up on lunch hour, and literally, as we're getting the ceremony, I got the veil, and it's 5:40. I'm barfing in the bucket, pulling the veil back down. I do saying the vows, and I'm like, I'm going on a date with Robin tonight. I don't care what it takes. So we went out that night.
Girl after my own heart.
And I wasn't eating. He goes, you don't eat much. And I said, no, really I do, but I just really wanted to. That's how we started off.
Oh, I love that. And I love that there's another special foodie friend connection with Barbara Lazaroff.
Yes. Well, because Barbara was, Robin was such good friends with Wolf, and of course knew Barbara. When Barbara and Wolf got married in the south of France, Robin went to the wedding. I couldn't go because I was working, of course. Robin caught the garter. So I had Barbara Lazaroff's garter from her wedding hanging off I had this palm tree bed in my bedroom, with her garter hanging on it for like 5 years. It was getting dusty.
This is real, guys. This is really happening in the Viking La Cornue show in Chicago. You see what I'm saying? How fun is this? And talking about all of this visual, I'm thinking about a lot of things, especially the palm tree bed. You, as I started to segue into something else, but you have great style. You look amazing, great fashion. I love the way you dress. You're super, super stylish. And you also love to set the table. I was looking at some of your Instagram posts, and it's always like something that looks like an event or somewhere that I want to be having dinner as well. So with that said, you have great style, you have a great history, you've had a great life, speckled with all these stories that I'm sure we can get more of. But we got some pretty good ones today, Margaret.
Absolutely.
This is hot topic right here, right at the table.
Absolutely. And I think we should get the drum roll on the counter here because it is so exciting to announce. I am just so happy for both of you. You are going to have a new television show on TLC called Make This Place Your Home.
Hey, Jackie, because there's no place like make this place your home. We've been practicing that.
We've been getting that down.
We've been trying to get that down. Yes.
We're actually shooting our promos all weekend.
Yes.
In our they call it sizzle reel now. Yes. So we were sizzling yesterday.
And you know what I love about working with Jackie too is that like there's this like connection that we have clearly as we're both from New Jersey. You know, we both love style. we both love leopard. Leopard is like our basic like print.
I said to the leopard, he has this leopard jacket, and I said, I love leopard, but I'm sorry, my age, everybody says, oh, she's a cougar. And he goes, nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong with that. Our show is going to be about style, fashion, food, music. And Jackie and I are going to take you on this journey. Thank you for mentioning it. It's a lifestyle show. So we'll be talking about everything from like anti-aging to the hottest in trends and innovation with appliances and all things food, mood, and music. Mm-hmm. And Jackie and I are going to go on this amazing journey together, and we're not only going to talk about the trends, but we're going to hopefully set a few.
Yes, and inspire people to learn how to do it for themselves.
Right.
You know, how to, like a lot of people we all love our homes. I mean, it's your home. But a lot of times you get busy or, the money, or there's always reasons why you don't always have everything you want. So we're going to try to bring that information to our people to show you how you can make it, zhuzh it up and just make it fresher, newer without it being inconvenient.
Right, exactly. And me as the person who has done this backstage with the floral and the food and the environments, I'm always looking for ways really quickly to do it and on a dime. So our main focus is to inspire people to maybe come out from behind the scenes and maybe do their own floral arrangements and to do little appetizers and fun party ideas and favors, themselves, because it really is not that difficult if you allow yourself to go out there and just do it on your own. So Jackie and I are super excited to work together. We have incredible chemistry, and we're going to be taking you on this journey on Make This Place Your Home, and it's going to be really, really fun. And I get to work with somebody who's not only so excited to do something a little bit different, and it's your side passion. You've always designed homes and have appreciated art and furniture and all the pretty things in life as well.
Yeah, I actually have, my grandfather was an architect, which
great.
I always liked. Yeah, the fact that he was, it's, so creative. So it's in the genes. And I don't have that education, but
it's in the designer genes.
Yeah, but I've always had my own homes. I've bought and sold a lot of homes and always fixed them up and always, I love color. Like Jamie, we both love color. So we're like, not even pop a color, just color everywhere.
Yeah, color.
We love that.
Add it, subtract it, add it, subtract it, add more. It's like having fun.
Yeah, having fun. So friends would see my houses, and a lot of my houses would get on videos on the decorating shows because they knew I liked all this color, and it color photographs really well. Mm-hmm. So they always want to shoot your house when you have a lot of color. So yeah, and then friends started seeing that and asking me, will you decorate my house? So I got one of those decorator things, and I would go in the Pacific Design Center on Melrose and get stuff that normal people, and I learned how to design, like one time for a house, all the stark carpeting, I was designing the rugs for that. So it was really fun.
You should have seen us yesterday here in the Merchandise Mart. Obviously the Merchandise Mart is like a jewelry showcase of everything based on style and decor and all that. We have floors and floors and floors of like incredible cutting edge stuff here in our Merchandise Mart. Not only on this floor, but many, many floors. And we took Jackie yesterday to the One of a Kind show. And it was like letting a kid out in a candy store. We had the best time.
So what did you absolutely love that you saw?
Oh my God.
That you might think is trend setting?
We saw a lot.
A lot. Cutting edge pottery.
We saw pottery, which is, yes. Jamie's a pot, so he knows pottery. He was explaining, I have no idea the process and the time and the energy it takes to do pottery.
Yeah.
And then we saw these, I love the animal heads.
Oh, yeah.
They had these great artistic, I'm an animal person. I go to Africa a lot and, know all the animals, and they were beautiful, right?
Yeah, they were.
They were for grown-ups or kids.
We have like a love for lighting, and we have a love for everything from fitness, working out. I mean, I have this like really, really focused on my nutrition, really, really focused on my diet. And look at Jackie. Jackie has this like, Bowflex body right here. So we are totally into like the nutrition as well and the food as well. It's not just about style. It's about being healthy and happy while appreciating the beautiful things in life. So thank you so much, Margaret, for bringing that up. We're really excited about the project.
Well, look at this showroom. We're talking about everything that's in this building. Look what's in this showroom. Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, the
showroom is amazing.
Yeah, and now she's looking at all these Viking appliances and like dreaming about her new home.
Well, you know what? There's like a lot of kitchens in here. So Jamie goes, which one do you like the best? Oh my God. It's like you come in here and you can't stop looking. And there's things that Viking has that I didn't know.
You said that in my house last night. night.
Yeah, well, he's got the little red stove with the I was like, of course he does, you know. It's so adorable. And they have like refrigerators now for spices and plants, which I didn't know about. See, I have had big kitchens, but I don't know if didn't have them then, or I just didn't know about them. You know, they got big, and then they have the small bar size.
Yeah, so the innovation here in our showroom, we're, you know, at Middleby and in our showroom, we have the latest and greatest in innovation. So Jackie's talking about our garden chef and our, you know, our incognito and all of our appliances here that, like our rotisseries and everything, and our, you know, Blue Zone refrigeration that helps things last longer. So we have a lot going on here, and thank you for noticing that. It was a really great project to be in.
And it's been fun doing these recipes with you.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone, don't forget to check out Viking Facebook page for the recipes and the go-to advice on tips in the kitchen.
Tips and tricks in the kitchen.
Absolutely, with Chef Jaime Laurita. And then, of course, I'm sure you've noticed this beautiful floral arrangement.
Right.
Thank you for
You're welcome.
making the set so
and what's ironic about it, and I think when you're really, really in tune with nature and you're right on the cusp of and the cutting edge of like what's happening, if you look at the flowers alone that I chose for that arrangement and what we're wearing, guys, I kid you not, none of this was. Margaret walked in with that dress this morning, and I go, Margaret, it's the exact color of the flowers in the arrangements. And then Jackie shows up, and I'm like, Jackie, you're wearing the colors from the arrangement too. So I cheated. I was like, I need to step up to the plate and join these people. So we are the flowers in the arrangement.
There we go.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
Sunflowers are my favorites.
Are they?
So, yeah, right there. Can we have those cookies when we're done shooting?
Absolutely. That's my signature. There she goes again, eating. I love a girl that can look like this, and she'll eat all the chocolate chip cookies.
Yes, and they are so good.
Thank you, Margaret.
Recipe on that too. But how do you balance it all? I mean, you are doing so much. What advice would you have out there for our friends listening and watching in terms of how to have that life balance?
Well, I think in life it's really important to be happy. You know, like the Dalai Lama says, the purpose of life is to be happy. And I really believe that. So whatever that is, it's different for all of us. But I think it's really important to stay connected with what that is, because you can be better to the people you love and to your whole family if you feel good about yourself.
That's amazing.
That's one of the most important things I've learned. And I know as a mom, as a doggy daddy, you know, well, it doesn't matter, you know, it's where you give your time and your heart.
Right.
And you learn sometimes it's very easy to go into, well, I should do this or I should do that. You know, you want to cut ourselves into little pieces to try to please, to make everybody else happy. And then you say, hey, what's left at the end of the day? So, I think that's my biggest advice. And
all you need is love.
All you need is love. Yeah, that's the perfect saying.
Like the Beatles say, right?
Exactly right.
So we always like to end the show with 3 tips for the home chef. And maybe it's designing the kitchen, but what would be 3 tips for the home chef you'd love to share?
Or design tips as well.
Design tips?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for me, a meal, I'm a foodie, so I love the food, but since I don't actually cook it, but the reason why I love the food is because in my family, we would sit down together every night at dinner. That was our rule. Nobody answered the phone. You know.
So that's tip number 1.
Tip number 1, yes.
Getting together.
Getting together and sharing it with somebody, right? Eating together. I don't like to eat alone. I like to eat together. 2, well, I run every day so that I can eat anything I want.
That's the secret.
It's a good deal.
How far do you run?
3 to 5 miles. Every day.
So is exercising?
So exercise, because it gets the metabolism going, and I've learned that the body will burn the calories when it knows it's going to get more. People diet or fast or don't eat, and then your body stops burning because it's storing it, because I might not get more, I better save what I got.
Yeah.
But when you get your motor going, the body's like, I'm getting more. So
I relate to that. I run as well. So tip number 2 is to keep your engine running.
Yes. I have a toothbrush in my purse at all times. I go to a restaurant, I go to the ladies' room, I immediately brush my teeth. I hate bleaching my teeth. Coffee, wine, love it all. I brush my teeth.
So brush your teeth.
Great advice.
3 tips. And I think, also, I noticed, and you were talking about a lot of this yesterday, not to add one more to your list, but always do something pretty. Like you always have a little bit of touch of floral.
Yeah.
So.
For me, setting the table. Yeah. I have such a collection. Placemats. I like to do, I love the big bouquets of flowers, but you can't see the person across the table. So So I have a tendency to do bud vases, and everybody gets a flower. So it's a little garden going down the whole table.
We connected on pottery, on that pottery level yesterday.
And you can just go out the garden and cut your own, or a leaf, and everything's organic. Now, a stick, it doesn't have to even be a flower if they're not in bloom.
Cool.
You know.
Very great. And do you have any tips for us?
I have a million tips,
Yes.
and this would take a lot of time. But my biggest tip is to, do things with a reckless abandon. Don't be afraid. I get that a lot from people. Like, I'm afraid to do this. I'm afraid to do that. There's nothing to be afraid of. In creativity, the fear is actually an ingredient, and you need it. That's when the most beautiful things happen, when you allow yourself to be free. So my biggest tip when it comes to cooking, when it comes to design, when it comes to anything that you do, allow the creativity to happen and use the fear as your ingredient.
Very profound.
Wow.
This is
a good one.
And thank you so much, Jackie Zeman, for being on Kitchen Chat and sharing with us from your heart.
Oh, Margaret, thank you for inviting me. It's been I was so looking forward to meeting you and doing this, and I'm really happy that you had me on. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And Jamie, it's always a joy.
Of course,
to host
it
this
sure
with
is.
you.
And this is a really great little group right here that we have. I mean, talk about friendly, nice people. It doesn't really get better than this. So thank you so much for having us on, Margaret. And it's always a joy in the Viking Showroom to have you here sharing your heart and clutching your pearls, which I always make her do. And we certainly are the salt and pepper of Kitchen Chat, aren't we?
The pearls and tattoos.
Pearls and tattoos. Who would have thunk?
Oh, and thank you so much, dear foodie friends, for joining us on this journey. Make sure you check out TLC for Make This Place Your Home with Jackie Zeman and Jamie Laurita. And please visit me in my kitchen often, kitchenchat.info. And always remember to take a moment and savor the day.
Thanks for joining Margaret for Kitchen Chat today. Margaret would be so excited for you to drop by and visit with her at kitchenchat.info, where you'll enjoy podcasts, blogs, recipes, tips from chefs, and even great giveaways. She invites you to share your recipes and kitchen stories too. As Margaret always says, savor the day.